he said that out of nowhere, I don't know what it is, but she took off. I would never expected that to happen. And he's crushed. And she is right now, like, as he told me, living it up with some new lover boy.
Fellas, I have a question for you. Why the hell are men still expecting loyalty from creatures that have proven over and over again that they are incapable of it? Can you answer that for me? Drop it in the comments, because it makes perfect sense to pursue a woman and jump through her hoops if you want to make her yours on an exclusive and permanent basis. But if the reality is that she's never yours, it's just your turn, even if your turn lasts 25 years, there is absolutely no point in pursuing a long-term relationship with the modern woman.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Now, old school MGTOW like myself have known this for nearly a quarter of a century, but there are still millions of men out there thinking with their dicks and living in a fantasy world of romantic love, all thanks to their gynocentric programming as kids.
Yes.
As if women were romantic.
Are you delusional? Do you suffer from a mental illness?
Remember, men are in love, women are in business.
Facts.
So in this video, we're going to try and free our brothers from the gynocentric matrix of sacrificing your purpose, your happiness, and your dreams to try and inevitably fail to make a woman happy.
Oh, my listening.
Let's get into this.
So I just heard some bad news from a good friend of the family here. And I'm not going to say his name. I'm going to call him Tom. His name's not Tom, but we'll call him Tom. So Tom's been married for like 25 years. Him and his wife are what I would consider to be perfect, as close to perfect as I've ever seen.
Really?
Both of them make great money, him and his wife both.
Okay.
Like I said, been together 25 years. Happy, healthy, always laughing, always smiling.
Okay.
They took trips all the time. They did this together, did that together. Everything seemed great. And just recently, I guess, out of nowhere, she took off. She's been seeing somebody else. She divorced him. She crushed him.
Oh, there's a big surprise. That's an incredible. I think I'm going to have a heart attack and die from that surprise.
I've never seen him. Tom is literally one of the most happy-go-lucky, always cracking jokes, always making everybody smile kind of guys. Now, he's a union steam fitter. He has been for a long time. He makes really good money, and he's got some rental properties, and he's really good with money. So financially, he's always been set. Maybe not always been set, but he's put himself in a good position. And he said that out of nowhere, I don't know what it is, but she took off.
We know.
I told you so.
Them gal are wicked, them wicked, them wicked. Them gal are wicked, them wicked, them wicked.
I would never expected that to happen. And he's crushed. And she is right now, like as he told me, living it up with some new lover boy. After 25 years, like nothing even happened.
Just like a woman.
And it got me thinking about something. Hearing this news all the time, especially from somebody that, like I said, I would never have guessed this would have happened. They seemed super healthy, super happy. But I guess it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. Nothing's ever really enough.
Correct.
And this made me think this morning. I've been thinking to myself, at what point, like we've talked about many times on this channel, at what point are men going to start saying, you know what? I'm just worried about my own happiness from here on out. At what point is that going to happen? Because it's still not happening.
Because if you don't feel in love, then who cares if he's the good guy?
Now let's pause right there. Keyword Dev uses, this made me think. This being what happened to his friend Tom, a man who gave 25 years of marriage and got blindsided by divorce. 25 years! And she just dipped. No warning, no real explanation, just out. It doesn't make sense.
It's not logic!
Unless you've taken the red pill. This is how the awakening starts for many men. Something happens. Tragic, unfair, confusing, and suddenly the matrix glitches. You start asking the hard questions, like why?
What?
We see it as kids too. Dad's gone, mom's bitter, and no one explains a damn thing. It stays with us, and eventually we get to a point where we're done being confused. We want the truth.
You hear a lot of people say, oh, men do the same kind of thing. No, they don't. They don't. As a society, that's not true. As a society, we have men that still try to uphold a certain image, a certain type of behavior, certain accountability, and the women in our society have changed drastically. They've changed, I don't think drastically or dramatically. I don't think those words even sum it up enough. Those are understatements.
I agree with that.
And even in my videos that I've made in the last couple weeks, I've gotten lots of tradcons that comment or message me, give me the same spiel as always. As a man, you this, and as a man, you shouldn't encourage that behavior. Dude, shut up. Shut up. I am a Christian and I am conservative. Like, that's what I would consider myself. Not a tradcon. I'm more of like a new con, some kind of weird hybrid new conservative. I'm not a good Christian. I cuss. I'm vulgar. I'm this and that. That's what it is. Take it or leave it. But all you tradcons that always comment this bullshit on my videos, you need to understand something. You guys are in love with the fantasy of Leave It to Beaver and the Wonder Years, like I've said before. That shit's dead and gone.
Correct.
Leave It to Beaver is not coming back, dude.
Correct.
Leave It to Beaver isn't coming back. Those women do not exist anymore.
Correct.
And the ones that do exist are fake. They are faking it.
Yes.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
They're acting a certain way to get something.
This is pure gold. This is what red pill awareness sounds like. It's not rage. It's realization. Dev says he's a new hybrid conservative, which basically means he had values, but society punished him for holding them. You want to be a provider, protector, leader, cool, until she decides she's not happy.
Because if you don't feel in love, then who cares if he's the good guy?
You want a traditional wife? Get ready to get laughed at. So when Dev tells the tradcons to shut up, he's not being rude. He's telling the truth, because the truth is the game has changed. And if you don't adapt, you get burned.
At what point do men like my friend Tom, who worked their ass off in the union since he was, I mean, he's in his 50s right now, and he's been a union steam fitter since he was early 20s, I guess. I think it is. Literally never missed a day of work. And I know he's spent a lot of money on her. He's done a lot with her, bought her a lot of stuff. In fact, she had a kid from a previous man before him.
It all makes sense now.
Now we understand his mistake. He was doomed from the beginning. My brothers, you have to understand this. Never get into a committed relationship with a single mother. Now, the manosphere is full of good advice as to why not, but there are only two reasons that you need to remember. The first is that any woman selfish enough to become a baby mama is too selfish to be a good girlfriend, wife, or mother. And the second is any woman selfish enough to divorce her husband when they have kids is too selfish to be a good girlfriend, wife, or mother. When I say selfish, I mean thinks about herself more than her own children. Because we know from the stats that children of single mothers have the worst lives. Most people in jail, most teenage pregnancies, most teenage drug addicts, most teenage runaways, most suicides come from single mother households. So if a woman voluntarily chooses to become a single mother, she is a selfish cunt.
Damn!
End of. Never get into a committed relationship with a single mother. If you feel the desire to have sex with one, recreational use only,
Something is wrong with you!
there's something wrong with you, but I guess I understand it. Why get involved with a woman like that? That is that selfish, that she cares about herself more than her own children. That is a despicable woman, and you should steer well clear. Now, if you think I'm being too harsh, that's only because your mind has been corrupted by gynocentric programming.
He's out of line, but he's right.
And you actually have forgotten what women are supposed to be, how they were designed and developed by evolution or God, whichever you prefer, because you've been living under 60 years of gynocentric, female supremacist culture.
I can see what he's doing. I can see it. I feel it. He's cooking.
So I'm going to read from an article called How the Rockefellers Re-Engineered Women. I'll expand on the Rockefellers' role, but first we need to remember that for a woman, love is an instinctive act of self-sacrifice. She gives herself to her husband and children and is fulfilled by seeing them thrive and receiving their love, respect, and gratitude. A woman makes this supreme sacrifice to only one man who will cherish her and provide for his family. Men instinctively want to fulfill this responsibility. This is the essence of the heterosexual contract. Female power in exchange for male power expressed as love. Sex is the symbol of this exclusive bond. Marriage and family may not be for everyone, but it is the natural path for most. Now, our gynocentric society destroyed the heterosexual contract of marriage through the divorce laws and family court. Why?
That's all part of the plan.
And our female supremacist, aka feminist society, destroyed women by making them so egotistical, so narcissistic. I mean, they were already solipsistic and self-absorbed, but feminism turned that up to 11 to narcissism. Why?
That's all part of the plan.
Where they're so self-centered, they don't even think about sacrificing even their pleasure for their children. It's one thing to sacrifice your happiness for your children. Men do that all the time. But a decent woman prior to feminism would at least consider sacrificing her happiness for her children. But women today won't even sacrifice the pleasure of orgasm by Chad for their children. That's how fucking selfish they are. And single mothers are the worst. Mark my words.
This motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking good.
That motherfucker don't miss, man.
He's good.
In the heat of battle, he don't miss.
No.
In the heat of controversy, he don't miss.
No.
And he's gone out of his way to take care of that kid. At what point do we just start saying it's acceptable for men to just give the finger to dating and marriage and just be selfish and do whatever they want? At what point as a society do we just say, you know what, guys, just chase your money, just chase your fitness and your health and stuff, and just get hookers. Just buy these young, hot hookers, have your fun, and then do whatever you want with the bros the rest of the time. At what point does stuff like that start being acceptable? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I'm tired of seeing this one-way street, this two-tier system of accountability and this two-tier system of what's expected. I'm tired of it. Like, it's a laugh at this point.
Let's talk about it. 60% of men aren't dating. The mainstream media panicking. Why?
What?
Because the manosphere is now the main source of game, guidance, and real talk. And men are opting out, not because they hate women, but because they hate what this system has become. Corporate slavery, relationship traps, false accusations, divorce court wipeouts, all for a woman who might leave you after 2 decades with no warning. We're done playing. And it's not just talk. Men are building YouTube channels, businesses, brotherhoods, even sex robots are on the way. And when those drop, oh, it's a WRAP. It's a wrap. Men are wired for sex. No shame in that. But when sex becomes connected to frustration, disrespect, and disappointment, men evolve. We adapt. And the result? The system crumbles.
I see vulgar, trashy, garbage women out here that are still being treated better than like good, respectful, traditional men as a whole by society. I see 10 times as many people coming to the defense of the scummiest, trashiest, adult movie consuming and size queen filth and vulgarity and hookup women that are consumed by that garbage. I see 10 times more people coming to their defense as the ones even giving respect to like good, respectful men. I can't believe as men, there's still so many of us trying to be like respectful and relatively traditional and wanting the family structure. And I know a lot of people are holding out hope for that because we're thinking long term, the bigger image of society, and we can't let society fall. This is what's best for people. But I'm telling you guys right now, this is a losing battle. We are in a losing battle because I'm not going to say every, but almost every girl out here is laughing in your face. They're laughing in your face about these being chivalrous and respectful and traditional. And I want a good old woman. They're laughing in your face. They think you're a joke. They make fun of you to their friends about how much they have you fooled thinking they're a good girl. When back at spring break, I did this, or just last weekend, I did that. You have no idea what most women have done or are doing. Most of you guys that are in relationships, you have no idea the gross, backstabbing garbage your great, trustworthy girlfriend or wife, you have no idea what she's even looking at on her phone every day, probably, and blow your mind. You have no idea how many guys she's probably talking to or entertaining. And a lot of you guys are going to get mad when I say this and click off and get butthurt. That's the truth. That's the absolute truth. That's the absolute truth.
And let's not act like Dev is lying. Statistics back him up. Half of women admit to having a backup guy. You think that man is just sitting there waiting to pray with her? Nah, he's sliding in her DMs at the first crack in her relationship. And here's the wild part. That's happening at every level of SMV. Low, middle, high. Doesn't matter. Every woman gets attention online. They live on it. It's oxygen to them. So what happens when the looks fade and the DMs dry up? We've never seen it before. This is the first generation of women hitting the wall in public in real time, and it's gonna get ugly. Withdrawal is real. Attention addiction is real. And when men stop practicing simp jutsu, stop chasing, and start building alternatives, these women are gonna feel it hard.
I would have never guessed that my friend Tom and his wife would end this way. Never, ever, ever. You know, and it just goes to show, as men today, you're just never safe. Doesn't matter how charming you are. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care about all the bullshit everyone says. I don't care about any of that, because the mentality this monster that we're feeding as a society with women is it's undefeated. It's becoming this overgrown monster, this attitude. And again, times have changed drastically, and most men are not, either they're too dumb or they're just not willing to change. They want to hold on to hope. And I get it. But at what point do men just say, you know what? F this. I don't care about, being Mr. Nice Guy anymore. I'm not going to do this shit because I'm doing it for no reason. The world has changed drastically. Women have changed drastically in our lifetimes. And most men still refuse to change, or refuse to adapt, or refuse to operate in the realm in which we live. They still want to operate in a fantasy world of 1955.
So, can you blame Dev for being fed up? Can you blame the thousands of men who are walking away quietly? The dating market is cooked. The marriage contract is a trap. And the modern woman? Well, she made her choice. Now, men are making theirs.
Of course you can't blame men for going their own way. It's the only smart thing to do. MGTOW have looked at the modern dating and relationship game and concluded, quite correctly, that it is a game that is 100% rigged against men, so that the chances of a man winning are astronomically small. They've then decided, again, quite correctly, that the only winning move is to not play.
The shit's chess, it ain't checkers.
That said, even though I completely agree with both Dev and Manosphere Highlights Daily's diagnosis of the problem, there is something lacking in the offered solutions that I find to be lacking in every Manosphere video I see, except for my own, which is, of course, why I make videos, to fill this crucial gap in the market.
Oh, I see.
What do I mean? Well, the original MHD video, like every other thoughtful big picture video about the dating market, relationships, and the sorry state of modern women, diagnoses the problem accurately. That is, the juice ain't worth the squeeze, so stop squeezing, fellas, and focus on your own happiness rather than a woman's.
Of course! Of course! Of course!
I'm sure we can all agree with that. The problem is that it's far, far, far easier said than done. Why? Everyone seems to forget that men are not just wired for sex. We are wired to achieve, explore, adventure, grow, develop, and take risks that may well kill us in order to become the very best man we can be, and therefore increase our chances of mating and passing on our genetic line. And in order to increase the quality of the woman's genetic line we get to mate with.
You are technically correct. The best kind of correct.
Whereas Dev's suggestion of just using hookers will enable MGTOW to satisfy their need for sex, no amount of hookers or hookups or porn or OnlyFans or sex robots will satisfy our need to be masculine. That is, take risks, achieve, explore, adventure, grow, and develop into the very best version of ourselves. When for the last couple of million years, our motivation, drive, and purpose for doing so has been to mate with the hottest woman we can get. Nobody in the manosphere seems to want to talk about this huge, smelly elephant in the MGTOW room except me. Which I'm very glad about.
Wait, what did you say?
Because it makes this channel completely unique.
Oh, I see.
And eventually, it will make this channel massive. Mark my words. The good news is that there is a way to replace the motivation, drive, and purpose to be the very best man you can be that historically and evolutionarily used to come from the desire to mate with the hottest woman you could get. It's called a hero's journey initiation.
What the fuck is that?
And if you want to get started on yours, click the link in the description and grab your 7-day free trial.
Okay.
Because if all we are telling our blue pill brothers is the juice ain't worth the squeeze, so stop squeezing, we aren't going to free many of them from the gynocentric matrix.
Nope.
We need to offer a more exciting alternative than go your own way and use hookers. A hero's journey initiation is that more exciting alternative that can free millions of men from the gynocentric matrix. Mark my words. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
God, we should walk away from this.
Hold on. If I were to do this, if I even could do it, I'd need a guarantee. How do I know you can deliver?
You don't. But I can. So, do you want to take a leap of faith? Or become an old man, filled with regret, waiting to die alone?